Tonight, 6 Investigates is uncovering why so many criminal cases in Nueces County have been dismissed. A whopping 70%, nearly 3 out of 4 cases dismissed by the court system from January 2019 through 2021. The DA's office and courts resolved almost 24,000 of those cases during this time through convictions, deferred adjudication, and dismissals. And of those, nearly 17,000 cases were dismissed. But why? Where's the justice for the victims' families who feel like they've been tossed aside? Our Taylor Alanis reports tonight.
I'm angry, and I just can't believe it that they would send him to prison just for holding a gun, and they circled around the stripes and shot my son.
Last September, Linda Vela says her son James got into an argument with people while he was in line at the stripes on Ayers and Port. James died, and Terry Stafford was indicted on murder charges. But the Nueces County District Attorney's Office filed a motion to dismiss the charge on grounds the evidence was insufficient. Instead, Stafford pled guilty to a lesser charge of unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon. In April, 6 Investigates started looking into the dismissals at the DA's office. We discovered over the last 3 years, the county dismissed nearly 17,000 cases. A little more than 7,000 cases got convictions or deferred adjudication. If you compare the numbers between counties similar in size whose district attorneys handle both misdemeanor and felony cases by percentage to Nueces County, Nueces carries thousands more cases on the docket. We tried asking DA Mark Gonzalez about what we found, but he didn't respond. First Assistant DA Angelica Hernandez offered to meet with us without cameras. We had to reschedule the meeting, but she did not respond to our attempts to reschedule. Our questions focused on the link between the number of dismissals and the county's attempt to remain compliant with its reporting to the Criminal Justice Information System, also known as CJIS. CJIS is a criminal justice database accessible to law enforcement agencies and third parties across the country.
I know we're still at 89% right now on CJIS compliance, but truth be told, our office takes a lot of hits from the public and the media for trying to assist with that CJIS compliance.
During a June meeting of the County Commissioners Court, Hernandez talked about her office's efforts with CJIS while presenting the office's budget needs.
People don't understand the bigger purpose, and we feel bad, but we can't stop what we're doing. If it means dismissing cases and clearing out backlog, that's what we have to do for our part.
The reason for that? Money. Nueces County was eligible for roughly $1 million in grant money last year for being compliant with the CJIS requirements. Documents from the Department of Public Safety show this means an average of 90% of cases over a 5-year period have to be closed, either by the courts or DA's offices. Courts get 30 days to finalize dispositions, and then results must be reported to the Department of Public Safety, or DPS, within 5 days. According to a memo from DPS, not meeting the requirements puts future grant money in jeopardy.
The only way to meet any kind of numbers that the state requires is to either dispose of the case by plea or dismiss the case.
Emails confirm the DA's office submitted motions to dismiss to the courts en masse in March of last year to help meet the CJIS numbers.
You can't say just dismissing a bunch of cases results in injustice being done. I don't think anybody can say that. You have to look at each case individually.
Terry Stafford's case is just one of nearly a dozen murder, capital murder, or manslaughter cases dismissed in the last 3 years. The reason? Insufficient evidence.
I don't know what's going on in there. They're not doing their job.
During a Board of Judges meeting this July, Hernandez says they were at 90% CJIS compliance before their deadline of August 1st.
I'm a public servant, and so it does matter to me about CJIS, and we'll dismiss as many cases as we need to. And I do care about how many people are in the jail because that affects taxpayers. And so when I have no obligation to do that, I continue to do that because I want to make sure we get our funding and grants, and I want to make sure that jail people aren't languishing, especially if they're not guilty.
Taylor Alanis for 6 Investigates.
We did catch up with Angelica Hernandez following a Board of Judges meeting to ask her about these dismissals. She said that dismissals could include cases where individuals have been terminated from probation or pretrial diversion. We did ask her to sit down with us and look at the data, but she said Mark Gonzalez had directed her to not do any interviews. In part 2 of Granting Dismissals, 6 Investigates looks into how a case goes through the criminal justice system and why some say inexperienced prosecutors are the reason some cases get thrown out. That's tomorrow, right here, Chris 6 News at 10.